that this happened simply because she was black is pointedly.
Candace, do you know that one of the police bylaws is to preserve life? That's one of their bylaws. That's one of the top ones. It's like in the top 3. I believe it's serve the community, protect the innocent, and preserve life. You see, this is the problem that we have. This is why all the usual suspects show up the way that you said, Ben Crump and all of those people. It's because, you know what we try to do? We try to justify the situation and what happened by asking the question, why? And essentially try to give someone an excuse. Well, what type of music were they listening to? What kind of games did they play? So on and so forth. The one thing I do know is, since we were 3, 4, 5 years old, we've been taught right from wrong, and the absolute last resort in any situation should be to take someone's life. We don't need Ben Crump to see what the reality is. We know that in this very same situation, with a person of a different color, the threat of "I will you in the face" does not come. And we know that the weapon that would be drawn would not be the Pune. It would be a taser. You chalk this up to the police being human and making a mistake. For him, hearing the word rebuke you, the words rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and believing that rebuke means baptize. As I stated in my first video about this, those cops clearly did not want to be there. And we keep expecting people to be above human because they are in certain positions. Those cops clearly probably were ready to go home. They were probably on a long shift and probably clearly agitated. And when they were walking around the house, before they ever made contact, who does that shit right there? She thinks she has a prowler, and you don't knock on the door first and then look around. You start looking around the yard, and then you see that her car windows are bashed in, and then now you make contact and you say, at the door, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" You don't even take a fucking notepad out. But if it wasn't this black woman, and this is just common sense, if it wasn't this black woman in a black neighborhood, more than likely, if it wasn't that, they would have all types of notepads. They would have had a seat on the couch. The tea that she was probably making, or coffee, they probably would have had a cup of coffee. All of that shit. When you look at the facts, when you look at when you watch the whole video, this woman was made uncomfortable out the gate. You are out there walking around, no doubt making noise, and making her believe that for the last 10, 15 minutes that you've been walking around the house, that the prowler is actually back. She's been uncomfortable since before you made contact with her. As a woman in your position, being friends with President Trump, who just said that he wants to give police officers immunity for situations like this, I think sometimes you just got to know when to shut the fuck up. Because you can't just chalk all of that up to police officers are human and they make mistakes. When it comes to somebody's life, you get paid to make less mistakes. The threat of someone losing their life needs to be present in order to justify the taking of a civilian life. And hot water just won't do it. God bless. Show off.